We're starting with a dangerous weather situation unfolding right now across the South. Tropical Storm Arthur, the first named storm of the season, is hammering the Gulf Coast from Texas all the way to Georgia. We're talking winds up to 45 miles per hour, storm surge up to 4 feet, and here's the scary part, up to 20 inches of rain possible in some areas. In Magnolia, Texas, a 15-year-old has already died after drowning in a flooded retention pond. That's how quickly this becomes deadly. And it doesn't stop there. The Midwest is also getting hit tonight with tornado watches and warnings across Illinois, Kansas, and Wisconsin. Tomorrow, that same storm system shifts northeast, putting cities like New York, Philadelphia, Boston, and D.C. on alert for damaging winds. If you're anywhere from the Gulf Coast to the Northeast, watch this storm closely. Now to a story that is equal parts terrifying and inspiring. A private Cessna jet with 6 people on board crash-landed onto a highway in Laredo, Texas late at night. The plane was coming from Mexico, reported mechanical issues mid-flight, and then lost contact with the tower, crashing into a light pole and splitting apart on the road. Here's what makes this story remarkable. Ordinary people stopped their cars and ran toward the burning wreckage. 2 men used a sledgehammer to break open the cockpit. Others used a shovel to prop open the door. 5 people survived. One person, the founder of a Texas tech startup, did not make it. In the middle of a tragedy, strangers showed up as heroes. That matters. A horrifying scene in New York City today. One of those famous horse-drawn carriages in Central Park bolted out of control with a family of 4 tourists inside. A video captured the horse sprinting, the carriage crashing into another one and flipping onto its side, and an 18-year-old falling onto the pavement. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Tonight, we've confirmed he has died. This is the second major incident involving Central Park's carriage horses in just over a week. The first, a horse collapsed and died after eating a toxic plant. Animal rights groups and the Central Park Conservancy are now calling for a full ban on horse-drawn carriages, a debate that's been going on in this city for years. A beloved New York tradition is now at the center of a serious safety and ethics conversation. Okay, this one's big and complicated, so let's break it down. The Trump administration just struck a deal with Iran. Here's what happened. Iran reopened the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical shipping lanes in the world, after closing it during their conflict. In exchange, the U.S. is lifting sanctions on Iran, allowing them to resume oil sales, releasing billions in frozen Iranian assets, and committing to help build a $300 billion reconstruction fund. On top of that, Iran pledged again not to develop nuclear weapons. But unlike the Obama-era deal, this agreement has no detailed nuclear restrictions, no inspections framework, just a promise to keep talking. And here's where it gets really interesting. On day 1 of the conflict, President Trump vowed to obliterate Iran's ballistic missile program. Today he walked that back, saying Iran needs to have some missiles because other countries have them. Even within his own party, Republicans are not happy. Senator Bill Cassidy said, and I quote, "Reagan would be rolling over in his grave, calling this the worst foreign policy blunder in decades. A deal was made, but whether it's a win or a massive concession is a debate that's just getting started." Remember Luigi Mangione, the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York sidewalk in 2024. His trial is set for September, and today we found out how his lawyers plan to defend him. They're going with a psychiatric defense, specifically claiming Mangione was experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance at the time of the shooting and was not in control of himself. Here's why that matters legally. If successful, this could reduce the charge from murder to manslaughter, which could mean 10 years in prison instead of life. The judge was not playing around, ordering the defense to hand over all psychiatric records immediately. This case just took a major legal turn, and September's trial is going to be must-watch courtroom drama. After more than 3 decades of fear, pain, and unanswered questions, justice was finally delivered on Long Island today. Rex Heuermann, an architect who worked in New York City for years while leading a double life, was sentenced to life in prison for the murders of 8 women. He hired them as escorts, killed them over a 17-year killing spree, and left families in agony for generations. Today, those families got to stand in court and look him in the eye. One victim's daughter, who was just 3 years old when her mother disappeared, told him, "You didn't just take my mother's life, you stole an entire lifetime of memories we never got to make." When it was Heuermann's turn to speak, he gave them almost nothing. The judge, clearly disgusted, called him a disgusting, despicable small man before sending him away for life. The courtroom erupted. Families clapped, jeered, and finally, after 33 years, got to watch him walk out of their lives forever. Justice took way too long, but today it showed up. Let's end on something fun, because the World Cup is here and America is absolutely buzzing. Last night in Kansas City, Lionel Messi, at 38 years old, scored a hat trick and became the first man in history to play in 6 World Cups. 6. That's not a typo. And international fans have completely taken over American cities. In Boston, fans from Scotland are marching into Fenway Park, playing bagpipes, singing the Star-Spangled Banner, and their words promising to drink your beer and have a right good time. Boston pubs are reportedly running out of beer, but hey, they're working on it. Soccer brought the world to America's doorstep. Enjoy it. And that's your Purple Analyst Daily Breakdown. 7 stories, no filler, just what matters. If you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below which story hit you the hardest today. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay informed, stay sharp.